Spirituality is often associated with unity, compassion, and connection. Yet even within spiritual communities, division can emerge. Groups define themselves not only by what they believe, but by what they reject. And rejection, when intensified, can evolve into polarization. Polarization begins subtly. It begins with language. We are awake. They are asleep. We see the truth. They are conditioned. At first, these distinctions may feel empowering. They create clarity. They create identity. But identity defined through opposition carries risk. When consciousness becomes a marker of belonging, difference becomes threat. And when difference becomes threat, the need for enemies emerges. Enemies give structure to identity. They reinforce cohesion within groups. They simplify complexity. They reduce ambiguity. This psychological dynamic is not unique to politics. It operates in spiritual environments as well. Spiritual polarization does not always appear aggressive. It often presents itself as moral clarity. If they do not see this, they are not ready. If they disagree, they lack awareness. If they question, they resist growth. These statements may sound reflective, but structurally, they define insiders and outsiders. Consciousness, when tied to moral superiority, becomes fragile, because it depends on contrast. Without an other, identity weakens. Spiritual polarization thrives in environments where certainty is rewarded. Certainty feels stable, reduces doubt. It provides orientation, but certainty often oversimplifies. Complex social realities are reduced to binary narratives: awake versus asleep, conscious versus unconscious, light versus dark. Binary thinking is psychologically efficient, but reality is rarely binary. When spiritual narratives adopt binary structures, they mirror the same polarizing dynamics they may claim to transcend. Polarization intensifies when groups feel threatened. Threat can be external or perceived. Social change, cultural tension, media narratives, public criticism. Under pressure, identity hardens. Hardening reduces openness. Openness is essential for conscious inquiry. Without openness, dialogue becomes impossible. Dialogue requires vulnerability. It requires willingness to engage with difference without collapsing into defensiveness. Spiritual communities sometimes interpret disagreement as negativity, but disagreement is not inherently destructive. It can be generative. It can refine understanding. Polarization emerges when disagreement becomes moral failure, when opposing views are framed as inferior, ignorant, or spiritually undeveloped. This dynamic is reinforced by digital ecosystems. Algorithms amplify emotional content. Outrage travels faster than nuance. Conflict increases engagement. Even spiritual communities are not immune to this. Messages framed as urgent warnings or moral absolutes often spread more rapidly. Gradually, tone shifts. Language intensifies. Complexity disappears. What begins as perspective becomes ideology. Ideology reduces reality to a single interpretive frame. Consciousness narrows. This narrowing is rarely recognized from within. From inside the group, polarization feels like coherence. It feels like shared clarity. But coherence built on exclusion creates echo chambers. Echo chambers reduce exposure to alternative viewpoints. Without exposure, self-correction weakens. Spiritual inquiry depends on self-correction. Without it, growth stagnates. The creation of enemies simplifies responsibility. If problems are located entirely outside the group, internal reflection becomes unnecessary. Blame replaces examination. But conscious awareness includes self-reflection. It includes recognition that every group carries blind spots. When spiritual communities define themselves primarily through opposition, their identity becomes reactive. Reactive identity depends on external stimuli. True consciousness is not reactive. It is reflective. Reflective awareness allows complexity to remain intact. It resists simplification. It tolerates ambiguity. Polarization reduces ambiguity. But ambiguity is not weakness. It is space for learning. Spirit Online approaches consciousness as an antidote to polarization, not as fuel for it. This does not mean avoiding difficult conversations. It means engaging them without reducing opponents to caricatures. It means recognizing shared humanity even within disagreement. Consciousness that requires enemies to sustain itself is not grounded. It is dependent. Dependency on opposition creates fragility. Because if the enemy disappears, identity destabilizes. Healthy spiritual inquiry does not require antagonists. It requires curiosity. Curiosity softens boundaries. It does not erase difference. It explores it. Polarization thrives on certainty and speed. Reflection thrives on patience. In a world increasingly structured around immediacy, patience becomes a conscious act. Spiritual communities have the opportunity to model complexity rather than amplify division. But this requires vigilance. Vigilance toward language, toward framing, toward emotional escalation. Consciousness matures when it can hold tension without collapsing into hostility. Unity does not require uniformity. Connection does not require conformity. Awareness does not require opposition. When spiritual narratives stop creating enemies, they recover depth. And depth restores dialogue. If you value depth, clarity, and conscious perspective, you're welcome to subscribe to this channel. More articles and essays are available at spiritonline.de. Thank you for being here.